my discussion because I was chairing the meeting, and I was going to do it at the end of all the participants tonight speaking. And if I overstep, Mr. Geis, I apologize. You know, it's a heated issue, and it's hard for someone like myself to sit quietly when I'm so passionate about something. So first of all, I wrote some good notes from everything that everyone was talking about, and I appreciate it very much. A couple of things that I went somewhere over this last week, and I think the person is very smart, and when they asked me about this issue, and they didn't understand it at all. They were like, you know, why don't you want to just, you know, put a couple of marijuana places here? You know, let's just give it a try. And I respect that person and any person that asks me these kinds of things. So what I told them is that it's the selection process. When you bring it into what we've learned in our research and in our you know, all of our meetings and talking about this, is that if you create a selection process, which means you're selecting 2 places or whatever your selection process is, then you are choosing. So like Westland, if 30 people apply and they pay us their $5,000 application fee, and we're only going to allow 4, then 26 or more places have lost their application fee because it's non-refundable, and they want this business. So they are, you know, they in other cities have sued, and they've sued all the way to the Court of Appeals. They filed injunctions. Now, me personally, I don't want our tax dollars to be used on litigation unnecessarily. I would rather our tax dollars be used for, you know, our city services. And so, as it stands, if there's a lot of litigation, the people making the money off of these, in my opinion, are the businesses and the lawyers. And I would rather my money be spent on other things. Amen. Okay, so that's one thing I want to say. The ballot proposal. Okay, so let's just do a history of that. We talked about this as a council. We thought, let's bring it to the voters. We were all pretty much in agreement, or some of us were in agreement that we should maybe do that. Okay? So we were talking about that, and we were talking first to bring it to council to see if we still wanted to have the discussion. And so some of us, at that next meeting, whatever it was in April, we decided that we were going to talk amongst ourselves and do a vote. Do we want to continue this down this road? And instead, an ordinance was put on the agenda for that night, instead of us talking about putting a ballot proposal on. Okay? So then, after that, there was a referendum out there by residents, but some of, you know, they had some help with this, okay? And I understand that, you know that it was passed around in different places, and that they were close to getting the votes. Okay, this ballot proposal that these residents have gotten together talks to, and I'm going to refer to Mr. Johnson here. We talked about it yesterday. I believe that it's a minimum of 20. Is that correct? I believe that it's 4 of the growing, right? And 5 of all the other classifications, which there are retail, there's consumption, there's, you know, where you go into a building and consume it there. There are, if someone can help me with all the other classifications.
Grow processor, secure transporter,
secure transport,
safety facility, micro-business.
So that was, you know, so before we even could do that, some of the people decided that they were going to do this other thing. So now, if it indeed is going to go on the ballot in November, which I do believe, I've been told they have the signatures, so if they do that, and it's voted yes, then we must do it. It says must. It must happen that way, okay? So I asked the lawyer many times over, our corporation counsel, what happens if we do this now, and then this passes? So do we have to do whatever we said in I-2, and someone just wants it in I-1 now as well? So that's I-2 and I-1, and I-1 goes throughout the whole city. Look at the map. And if we do that, what happens when there's a law, when there's an ordinance passed on the ballot that says we must? Do we have to do another 32? How much is too much? okay? So I think that putting a ballot proposal on from the council, we have that choice, we could have done that. And we could have put it on the ballot, yes or no. Doing a yes or no now might not behoove us because there's gonna be two things on the ballot. It's gonna be confusing. If people say yes to this, do they have to say yes to the next one? So does that mean they say yes, they want it, and yes, they want 32? They're gonna be thinking, okay, I would be thinking, if I vote for one, do I have to vote for the other? Does it mean, are they the same? What is the difference? You know, so if they say yes, do they feel like they have to vote on the second one? So I think that this proposal caused more confusion to put another one on the ballot as well. I think that, you know, that people might get the wrong idea, or what is really gonna happen if the other one goes through. So I say, it's been, a group of residents took the time, signed a petition in good faith, thinking that they were going to get this on the ballot. So if you know, if they're not gonna be represented by someone not doing it or going through because they're gonna promise us that they're not gonna do it, I think that it should be placed on the ballot and let people decide whether they want 32 marijuana facilities of all kinds in their city. The other thing is, if we do this tonight, okay, or tomorrow, or next week, or next meeting, if we do what we're proposing here, then it's unlimited. They don't like to say unlimited because they got the ordinance in there to where you can only do it between so many spaces, but you heard here today, businesses could come and try to be rezoned. If you add I-1, look at I-1, they're all over the city. Mr. Johnson, I did everyone talk.
Ms. Johnson.
Oh no.
Yes.
Well, I have several more things I'm gonna say in open business, but that's the gist of it, and I was just trying to explain what I believe.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Winton?
This is a motion to deny.
That's correct.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
No.
Mr. Remick?
Yes.
Mrs. Rose? Yes. Mrs. Brandana? Yes. Mr. Geis?
No. Motion passes. 5, yes, 2, no, 1 excused. I would entertain a motion to recess until 9:30.
I make a motion to recess. Well, I'm gonna make copies for everyone.
Is there a motion by Councilwoman Brandana, supported by Councilwoman Rose, to recess until 9:30